Hi, Reshma.
Hello.
All right, let's get to this. Hi, everyone. We were guided to be channeling the Pleiades, and I'm gonna tell you how this guidance came through a little bit. Yesterday was Day of Deepavali, which is the Diwali that the gods celebrate, the festival of lights, where the gods are considered to come to the earth. Now, this happens every year on the Hindu nakshatra, the Vedic nakshatra Kritika, on the full moon of Kritika. This time we also had an eclipse during that full moon, but that's not the case every time. And the nakshatra Kritika is basically the constellation of Pleiades. And what's interesting about the Pleiades is like so many cultures across time have a lot of mythology regarding the Pleiades, the seven sisters. So the Vedic mythology says that there was a demon that couldn't be destroyed, and Lord Shiva was asked by all the gods to help them destroy this demon. So Shiva was in deep meditation. So they could not have him, marry Shakti and so on and so forth. So what they did was they requested to pull a part of him, and that part was so it was like a virgin baby. Now that baby had so much fire in it that even the element of fire could not carry it. So he went and put him in a forest. And in the forest, there were these 5 sages with their 5 wives, and the 5 wives took care of that baby together, and they were known as the Kritikas. So that boy, Kartikeya, who's also known as Sananda, grew up and then destroyed Tarkasur, the demon. And so it's interesting about the Pleiades because they are the mothers of the fiercest warrior, and the warrior is known to chop off the heads of everyone, all that's negative. But there is these mothers gave a big sacrifice, so they're very sacrificial. And then there's this other Greek mythology about the Pleiades, and about Medusa being one of the Pleiades, and also the element of fire is associated with the Kritika nakshatra. So it's interesting with fire. Fire transforms, but it also burns if you use it incorrectly. So there's a lot of it's soft, and it's the word Kritika literally means to cut, and it's sharp and it's soft at the same time. It has the love of a mother, the selfless love of a mother, but at the same time it has the fierce, like it's like the eye of Ra that generates warriors to protect Ra. They're creators of that kind of strength or energy that can be used for the good or the bad. And so that's what the Pleiades are. And interestingly, what was coming through for me was releasing, and being that this was coincided by an eclipse itself, which is linked to release, the release that I was getting. So the Pleiades are like these mothers sacrificed to take care of this child, like they chose not to have their own children to be able to together take care of Kartikeya, because he was, his energy was too much for just one mother to take care of. And they were always like in the other myths also, they're always like chased by Orion. And there is this thing about the misuse of your beauty, or or your sexuality or your femininity to kind of lure, like Medusa was cursed because she was a beautiful maiden who had sex with a god in the temple of the gods, which was a no-no, right? So that's why she was cursed. But I guess it's about resurrection. It talks about the Magdalens is my take on it, where I feel like they are the resurrection of the resurrection of any kind of feeling that leads you to release any collective wounds of the feminine, and to once and for all change that. Reshma, let's call in we call in the Pleiadian Council to come through and speak through us, and we ask for shielding as we chant this information. And Reshma, go ahead and see what is coming through for you.
Okay. Well, first of all, I just want to tell you thank you for all that information, because I knew that the Pleiades were part of many cultures, and I didn't know to the extent into the Vedic, that information is wonderful.
Thank you.
Okay. So So Kartika, you explained that he later became Sananda. He is known as Sananda, correct?
He is known as Sananda. He has many names, yes.
Is this the same Sananda as we know it?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah,
and
the
this
reason
is
we call him Jesus Sananda is because it's the same bloodline. So
right with the
Kartikeya,
Christ conscious.
the Christ consciousness, yes.
Yes.
Kartikeya was the first person who brought, so he was the one who decided to come with the army of 144,000 volunteer souls. They left their beautiful abode of Venus in order to come here and help the earth and spread the message of love, because what was happening to earth was like everyone was killing everyone. And anytime that kind of happened when the earth was about to be destroyed, they came and intervened to help the earth from being destroyed. And every time that happens to the earth, they come back with the same message. So Sananda brought these 144,000 volunteer souls, which then kept incarnating. And the entire bloodline of Jesus and Yeshua's bloodline is part of the same bloodline. The Krishna Christ consciousness is all about the message of love always wins. That's the message that they bring. And that is the essence of what Christ consciousness is. That when you connect through only the love, through only the good, through only the highest frequency of love and light, then nothing can touch you, because your heart can be your biggest
weapon. And
yeah.
My goodness, as you're speaking, I'm just getting chills, and I'm like, okay, this is it. This is the connection. This is
the message. This is the message.
Yes.
And this message came from the Pleiades, that they are the mothers of Sananda. They are the mothers of this powerful being who could not be contained. And in ancient times, like they said, when the Pleiades come into the sky, they're winter constellation. So they come into the sky in winter. And when they're high in the sky, they would guide sailors. And there was a saying that, like, when the Pleiades are finally visible and Orion, is chasing the Pleiades, that's when you stop sailing, because the winter storms come through. So
wow.
Right, the Pleiades were guiding light to the sailors in the darkness. That's why they have a very watery energy. They have a very blue watery energy as well. But at the same time, that's the thing. It is soft and it's sharp at the same time. It can be the sword that cuts off the head of the demon, but it can be the fire that even the element of fire could barely contain. But at the same time, they are the mothers. They are the mothers that generate the fire bearers.
And Mehernez, I mean, this is like, when you were talking about it, I was like, you're expressing like who I am.
Yes,
I am Pleiadian mother, right? And I'm really soft, but I am like, when it comes to fighting off these demons and things, I'm like, I go for it, right?
Right, exactly. And that's what every Pleiadian has, this essence. And this is is, I have a Pleiadian rock, and so same thing. I understand this process very powerfully. I have seen my other sisters who are Pleiadian be the exact same way. They are the most amazing
Yes.
mothers, and then they have this powerful, energy, where like a dragon that breathes fire,
Yes.
and that's the and this is the same. In Egypt it was explained as the eye of Ra. The
Mm.
eye of Ra is even more fierce than Ra himself, because the eye of Ra actually goes all around Ra and ensures that if there is any attack, then it will spit out and create these. The children of the eye of Ra are warriors, even though she
Mm.
is feminine. She's like the fierce lioness who protects her lion, that kind of
Mm-hmm.
thing. Even though the lion is a very Syrian symbol, but that was just as an example.
Right.
And the understanding right now is where we are now. Magdalene was crisis, she was with him, and she did
Yes.
the same thing for Christ. And she
Yes.
had to suffer through whatever she went through in terms of her reputation. So
Yes.
another very powerful wound that most divine feminine women of the vestibule virgin archetype have, all of us. Then the divine feminine is the oracles, the sacred oracles. The wounds that they have are very centered around wounds from being not valued when they selflessly give their love, and being
Right.
persecuted, whether it is from their own significant other, if they choose the wrong ones, or not. It's not even about wrong and right. It's all about, it's an archetype, but in
Mm-hmm.
this day and age and plane, it brings a lot of lessons. And the archetype is the divine mother just wants to help everyone,
Yes.
and they
Yes.
take on these men who they think that they're going to help, or like children that they're going to help and correct and resurrect is the word. And as they are
Mm-hmm.
resurrected, and then they leave, and because that's just the nature, because they're now healed and they no longer need that healing. But in
Right.
ancient times, the vegetable virgins would that was their task. They would heal people and then they would leave, and that's when they would, exactly when they're healed, is when they would go and live happy married lives and this and that and
Right.
this collective.
Right.
So I for anybody who feels these wounds, who feels that, oh my God, I do so much for a person and then they leave. And I'm not just talking romantically, this is in general, right? You can
Yes.
feel that with
Yes.
clients. You can, as a teacher, I often face the thing where I teach and activate people, and then once the teaching is done, they leave, and they don't look back. And the idea is for us, the wound is inside of us. So as
Mm-hmm.
long as we expect that that's going to happen, and we're giving without expecting in return, that's okay.
Yes. Yes.
But if we are expecting something back, and it's natural to expect that if the person is what you consider your significant other, so it's natural
Mm-hmm.
to expect something back from them. But then that's the whole point, that you do not take on your your project as your person who's your significant other. you just
Right.
you just take on someone who's already sorted, and then you keep doing your task with your tribe, your collective, your
Yes.
students, your clients, whatever you want them,
It's,
you can help respect.
it is literally like being a parent. You provide, you heal, you protect, and you have to let that child go.
Yeah, and you teach, right? that
Yes.
that
Yes, you
ancient
teach.
uh,
Yeah.
the ancient, what is it, the saying, it says, give a man a fish and you teach him for a day, teach a man how to fish and you feed him every day. So we taught them.
Right.
And we're the other interesting thing about the Kritikas, or the Pleiadian mothers, is that we want to teach them to a point where they can. So here's the right approach to it. I'll talk about both the right and the wrong approach. The right approach to deal with this is, I want to teach you in a way that you can learn as soon as possible, and as soon as you're done learning, I go release you and go to the next person, because someone else is waiting to learn, instead
Right.
of getting them instead of teaching them in a way where there is a dependency that's created, and then
Right.
it becomes a codependent relationship where you're asking. So it's very interesting. Medusa's head is very interesting because, like when she looks at someone, she was cursed that when she looks at someone, they turn into a rock. So it's
Right.
almost like, don't look at me. That's the thing, right? So it's this thing like, okay, are you giving me any respect for everything I have done for you? When you start thinking that way, then you become the Medusa's head.
Right. And then those people are gone. They're
And of course,
just,
yeah, because then they think,
yes.
because they didn't know what they were signing up for. If you were giving
Right.
willingly, they were taking willingly. They did not know that,
Yes.
there was a price to pay for it, And even though the only thing that we may be asking in return for is love, or just basic, love,
Friendship.
respect, acknowledgement, friendship, don't forget me, like remember that I did this for you or whatever. But it's still then it's not unconditional love, and that's not Sananda's message.
Right. Yes. Yes.
It is that
This
of
is so
unconditional.
major. Like I'm just getting chills from in my heart chakra area. I expressed chills here when you said that. That is so important.
Yeah,
That
we must
we
take
have to.
responsibility for our part about what we are doing. And this is something you had mentioned to me. I remember you saying that, right? At some time ago, and you were the one, and we know this deep down, we know this, but when it comes to applying
Yes.
it, it's another story. Because of course it's hard, and as in the human incarnation.
Yes, and I was just going to bring that up. The human.
Right.
Yeah. No, go ahead. In the human incarnation, our emotions are need as a human to be recognized, to be recognized.
To acknowledge that, and
Yes.
this is important that we do acknowledge that need as well. So this is where the tricky part comes, right? So this is a question for the Pleiadians that I would like to ask, and if ask the Pleiadians right now, how do we best balance this need, understanding that we are the messengers of unconditional love, but also understanding that in this day and age, it is hard for us to live with unconditional love and not expect anything in return. We would like to ask the Pleiadian Council of how to best resurrect this issue.
And as soon as you said that, I had the answer. Okay. We need to have our sisterhood. We need to have our days of celebration and recognition for one another. Have a circle where we recognize each person and thank each person. Because we cannot do that with our students. Our students leave us, right? But our groups that we work with, sorry about the background noise, let me move.
Okay.
Our groups that we consider our sisterhood, that is our support. And that fills our cup. So this is so major for us because
so
we
only
don't.
The other Pleiadians that we have, only others of our kind will fill our cup, is what you're saying.
No, just the sisterhood that we have. If we have a circle, we could do it twice a year or once a month, whatever we come to feel works for us, where we just, because we don't give ourselves acknowledgement. It's hard for us to look at ourselves and say, we did good, and take it as something to celebrate. But this is what they did in ancient days, especially in Lemuria. They celebrated the women sisterhood. They celebrated. They thanked each other for throughout the year what they did, you know, and that is how you keep that, knowing that, you know, all of these people that I have in my life, they love me unconditionally. And it's not about the people that you've taught that have left the tribe. Maybe they've moved, maybe they've, you know, they're doing their own thing. It's like and they'll remember you every once in a while, right? But we need to have the sisterhood, you know. Yes, that's how it was. It was little
Yes,
celebrations.
that's beautiful. That's
Yes.
beautiful. Ah, I'm so yeah, that's absolutely true. We yeah, it's, you know, because we know how to give unconditionally, and when we do that for each other, it fills our cup like nothing else does. Anything
Yes.
else is just, but we feel like we are taken and burnt out. But also understanding that there is a give and take even from the child. The child cannot give you as much as another mother can, but
Right,
the child
right.
still makes you feel full because you're part of their, it's
Oh, yes.
there's some joy that we get from mothering these children. But
Oh,
yes,
yes.
we need to do it in a way where our cup is also filled up.
Yes, celebration with each other, because we are really doing a lot of work. No matter what we think about the surface, because the surface doesn't always look so pretty, right? But the work that we're doing is beneath and in the subtle realms. And what it's creating, ripple effect creating through the multiverse, you know, for the future, for the coming days, we are affecting that. And we don't take the time to recognize that, because we're always, you know, we're always looking for, the human is looking for the outside recognition. So that's why it's important to have the celebrations with the group, a sacred ceremony of celebration.
Because that is us
Yeah.
celebrating ourselves.
Yes, together, and you don't feel selfish because it's in a group.
Right.
Yeah.
But we deserve to celebrate ourselves.
Yes.
Guilty about it.
Yes.
Oh, that is beautiful. That is so beautiful. All right. Well, Reshma, there's another question. Thank you so much. There's another question I have for the Pleiadian Council, and that is, so the other day, when me and Reshma were channeling, we got that we have, we asked this question about why do we take in the healing? Why do we take in healings, when we're healing someone? Why do we take on their pain, like consciously or unconsciously? Why do we take on their pain, right? So like, it's just a thing, like whether we want it or not, whether we shield or not. And the reason the shields work only to an extent and not fully is because there's a part of us that wants that pain somehow. It's not that they want the pain, we want to so take it away from the other person. Like when we see someone in pain, that we just unconsciously take on their pain, right? And we asked, how do we guard against that? Because we can't keep getting depleted every time we work on a client. And then we were given, connect to them through the Christ consciousness. And this is a very important piece. So I would like them to clarify in depth what they mean by that. So let's see what comes to.
Unconditional love and unity. That's the Christ consciousness. Having unconditional love doesn't mean that you need to feel and take on what someone else is experiencing. But it happens because we are literally all connected, right? And so there are pieces of us that can relate to situations, and therefore we can take on other people's experiences, feelings, pains. So calling in Christ consciousness, you have a heart so big and so strong and so full of love that you rather heal them and not take it on, because you know that if you take it on, it is something that can keep growing and keep going to the next and the next, right? The ultimate, yeah, this is, it's like you have to just have so much love for that person that you work from a point of observation. You're just from observation. That this clearing that you're doing is clearing for multiple generations and through the multiverse. It's not just that person. It's all, we have to, when we're healing, we have to clear it all through all that is connected to. It sounds very, very broad, like trying to understand. So asking that the healing is moved to all that it's attached to, whatever it is that you're healing from someone. All parties involved throughout all space and time, dimension and reality. Yes, because we can't forget that it is not just that one person involved. That's the ultimate unconditional love. Kind of went all over the place with this, but this is what.
No, but it all made perfect sense. It's almost like an antithesis. It's almost like you the reason that we take on their pain is because we don't want them to suffer, right? And that is part of unconditional love. That's what Jesus did, his sacrifice, right? But what they're saying is a higher octave of what unconditional love really means is that, like, the way the ascended masters love us, they don't take on that pain when they're healing us. They just give. And then if we are trying to take on the pain, that means that's an unhealed part of us, which somehow has the need to do so.
Right.
But if we give totally selflessly, then we will not want to take on their pain at all.
Right.
So yeah, so that's what that is. That's what that means, really. So we, the true way to love unconditionally is to be able to give, not necessarily selflessly, but in a detached way. So when we're healing something, do not get you don't get your emotions involved. And then you're doing it in a detached way, the way an angelic or an ascended master would heal us. They wouldn't be like, oh my God, you're suffering, let me take on some of your pain. No, they're going to transmute it to the light, because they are the light.
Right.
That's
And that's
how, when
exactly what we are.
right. And when you act out of the Christ consciousness and you become the light as you're healing them, you're no longer taking on their darkness. So I think that's what they were trying to say. Is that accurate? Can we confirm?
You are correct.
Okay. Okay. Thank you. Can you, we're going to request for us, we're going to request the council for us and for everybody listening to this call. Would you please help us release and clear all of those wounds of persecution and resurrection, and any of those wounds that are in us that make us take on other people's wounds, the need inside of us to heal them, whatever wound that is attached to. Can you help clear that for us? If it, the part of that that's attached to the wound, without releasing the need to actually heal people, which is, we need that to be able to do our work inherently, but whatever is negative about it, whatever is not of the light about it, would you please, at this moment in time, send us your light of healing and beam that to our crowns, is where I'm feeling the beaming. To the crown, going down our chakras, healing the neurons of our brains and our third eye and our throat and our hearts, healing the hearts. Oh my God. And big healing in the solar plexus as well, because it's the power struggle it's healing. Because there is no power struggle when it comes to the need for recognition for the work we have done, because it does not, we ask that all such need be cleared. That is not of the light. Big clearing in the solar plexus, and now it comes to our womb, and all the wounds of the womb cleared for all of the divine feminine in the collective. And we ask for that to be done without processing their wounds. We ask for our own wounds to be cleared as well. May all the wounds of the collective divine feminine be cleared without the need for any of them to process it for the collective. May it just be transmuted into the violet flame now, in accordance to divine will and to the extent the karma allows, and for those who are willing. Thank you.
Okay, so
and now it's going down to the root, and then it is sending those roots down, all the way down to the earth, and earthing us so that we may be comfortable with Gaia's frequency. And this is our rebirthing. Thank you.
Yes.
And when I say the words the divine feminine, I would like to clarify that you could be a man and you could have the same wounds. It is not about the female in the sense, in the literal sense, but about anybody who has this frequency or this archetype, and who may have in other timelines been the divine feminine. Thank you. Go ahead. You were saying something. Thank you so much for your healing.
I was going to say that I was working with Maureen, and we went to the sacral chakra of the earth, which is like Titicaca in South America, Peru, I believe it is.
I've always been guided to go there. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so we can ask that this clearing be done in that place. So I am taking a deep breath and bringing myself to that place with all of the guides, all of our ascended masters and all who are working with us in the love and the light. We are there in a circle above Lake Titicaca.
Uh-huh.
Okay, and I want you to say that again about the womb, the healing for the collective. Let it be done through this part of the earth.
Yes,
And
yes. The womb. We ask that all of the wounds of the sacred feminine, all of the wounds of the Kritikas, all of the wounds of the divine mothers who have sacrificed, all of the wounds of the Magdalens, of the collective, be healed through the light of this portal
yes,
across
we're
all
calling.
time and space. And as we ask that we do not take on or process the wounds of the collective, we also ask that all of those divine feminine that have been processing the wounds of the collective through themselves, wounds that are not theirs, this is the time to release those wounds now and drop this into this portal. Drop this into this lake now, because you no longer need to suffer. We are no longer in the age of Pisces or the age of sacrifice. We drop those wounds now, and we ask for these wounds to be taken and transmuted so that only strength remains. And from that strength, we will be able to act out of unconditional love. And when we act out of unconditional love, we're not going to want anything back. And we also ask that as we live through our third dimensional lives, that our cups may also be filled with love. And yes, we understand that we can fill those cups with our own tribe and our sisters, but we also ask that we also have these cups filled through our significant others, and that we may choose the right ones. And we ask that for those of us that have, that are with someone, that they evolve to a point where they're able to fill our cups, for we in turn need to work through an overflowing cup and fill the cups of so many others. And we ask for all of this on this portal, and we ask for all of those wounds to be released. And I ask for this, like I said, only in accordance to divine will, because everyone has their own individual karma, for it to happen in whatever is best for everybody and wherever they're at this stage. Thank you.
Thank you. And Christ's light has entered that portal. That's Lake Titicaca. Thank you.
I feel it.
We do this. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, so I'm coming back to myself, and
Yes.
we're all back to our place.
Yes. Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you for the cleansing. Thank you,
Yes.
everyone that came through to help with this.
Yes, thank you all for working with us. Thank you, Sananda.
Thank you, Sananda. Thank you, Jesus.
Yes.
Thank you, Krishna. Thank you for bringing this consciousness to earth. And we ask that we always work. We never forget that this is what we came here for. We ask that in every timeline that we come to earth, that we be reminded that this is what we came here for, that we came here to pass the message of love, and that this time around we shall no longer, we release all patterns of being persecuted for spreading the word of love. And
yes.
And we clear all those patterns across all timelines and lifetimes. We ask for that to be cleared.
Yes. Thank you. Wow.
Okay. All right. Is there any other messages that they would like to give us? We're opening them to the messages.
You are doing such a great job. Don't forget and look for us. Look to the skies for us, as we will be more visible soon. Guess they're talking about the Pleiades, the constellation.
We will look for you. We will look for you.
Mhm.
You are so bright in the sky now during the winter, and this was your moon. We will look for you. We promise. Thank you. Thank you for coming through, and thank you. And okay, we also ask, as we heal the wounds of the collective on the earth, we also ask for the wounds of all the spirits of the Pleiades, that their wounds also be healed and cleared. I just heard, as you're doing this on earth, you're doing it for us anyway. Thank you. Thank you. We just ask the angelics and the ascended masters to assist the seven sisters, for they are they are the ones that are strong, and they are the ones that are the mothers, and it's through their, wow, I'm gonna have tears in my eyes. It's through their strength, and through their gentleness, and through their sacrifices, that we have all seen what love means. We have all been protected, that love has been protected before it was destroyed, and we thank you. And we thank you.
Wow. Thank you.
Any last word, Reshma?
I just have to say, like, Sananda was coming to me the past couple of days last week, and
I'm telling you, this energy is strong right now.
His message was to not forget what Christ consciousness is, to not forget that part. It's like, I feel like a lot of people, not just me, but maybe the collective, was kind of getting sidetracked about purpose and things like that. And it's like they forgot about the Christ consciousness. Like, that's what he was saying is, please remember, this is why you're here. And now I understand. I don't know. It's like this stuff, right? But this is so much bigger than what I thought. I didn't know, like, this story went.
This time we're on that brink again, where Earth is that brink where we're all in division, right? We're all like fighting against each other. We're all like doing this or that or this or that, right? We're all fighting
of the history. Yes.
Right. So, and we don't need that. And the whole message is this: regardless of what side you are on, when you're fighting, you are no longer in oneness.
Exactly.
A fight is a fight, and what they're saying is that's what the evil, because this was a manufactured virus, right? And because that's the reason most people are fighting, but there are other reasons too. But this was manufactured to create divide, and they're succeeding if we are allowing that divide to be created. So this is not about advocating for one side or the other. This is about advocating for humanity, whatever happened, to love. This is about that.
It is so much.
Understand this, people. If you're fighting, you're on the other side, and do not go to that side. Just do not fight, please.
Yes.
Okay.
I ask that Christ consciousness be lit up. Be lit up in the hearts and the minds of all souls.
Yes.
Okay.
Let's beam the Christ consciousness.
Okay.
We ask that be beamed onto earth, and any soul that has the ability to harbor the Christ consciousness and has love in their heart, we ask that their love amplified. We ask that more loving relationships and more loving communications be amplified.
Yes, we ask this. And in my heart, I know that this is like the last battle, you know.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Oh, yes. Mm,
Thank you. Thank you. Thank
yes,
you.
thank you.
For spreading this light. I'm almost seeing like little light bulbs going all across the globe.
Yeah,
See?
yeah. Just see like the golden light just
Yeah.
like engulfing.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Right. Thank you so much for beaming this light. We thank you. They're saying thank you for request because it's through your free will that we can ask. And if every person requests this, then we can beam it into their light and their home and their wow. Yes. Are you
Beautiful.
listening, guys? You need to request this to beam the Christ consciousness light to beam into your homes and into your relationships. And we ask that today that it beams into our homes and our relationships.
Thank you.
To all
Yes.
our relations, like my Dakota family says to all of us. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you,
Thank you. Thank you.
Ah, beautiful. Thank you so much.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you, Christ Consciousness family. Thank you, the keepers of the violet flame. Thank you, all of you. We love you so much, and we thank you for all your teachings. Please continue to allow us to be wonderful teachers who teach without expectation to every next person. But please also send us people who will value us and who will compensate us and who will understand, you know, that we also need to survive on this earth's third dimensional plane. Doing what we do best. All right, we now thank and close this circle, and we thank everybody that came through. We release the spirits that came in to help us, and we ask our protector guides and whoever would like to stay with us to stay with us. We ask the Christ consciousness light that is poured over here to consecrate and solidify and strengthen and brighten and stay with us and our homes and our loved ones. Thank you, everybody. Have a beautiful full moon, a beautiful Taurus full moon, a beautiful Kritika full moon, and love and light to all our Pleiadian brethren, to all the wisdom keepers, to all the beautiful earth witches, which I mean very respectfully, to all the holistic healers out there. All of that is the Pleiadian archetype. And to all the mothers, to all my mothers that so selflessly give every single day without being thanked.
Yes.
We honor you. Thank you. And we thank you for all your love and sacrifice.
Yes, this is so special. Thank you.
Yes, thank you. Thank you, Reshma, for joining for this.
Thank you for asking me. Thank you for calling me in.
it just we had to. I love that you were also getting inclinations from Sananda, and I was getting this. It just had to come through. Thank you.
This is wonderful.
Yes. All right, everyone, have a great rest of your day.
Have a good day. We love you.
We love you.
Yes.
Bye.
Bye.